So students, in our last class, we were discussing about the fundamental forces, right? Fundamental forces, by this term, we means that these are the basic forces of nature. And in the absence of this force, the universe doesn't exist. So what are the four different fundamental forces of nature? Shabarinath, what are the four fundamental forces of the nature?
Gravitational force,
Yes, gravitational force,
electromagnetic force,
electromagnetic force,
strong nuclear force,
strong nuclear force,
weak nuclear force.
weak nuclear force. And we almost discussed about our strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, and weak nuclear force. Now we are going to discuss about the gravitational force. Pooja, what do you mean by gravitational force?
It is an attractive force that every object in the universe exert on every other object.
Yes, very good. It's a force of attraction between the
Is ma'am talking? Or she left the meeting?
It's a new student's introduction.
yes. So now we are going to discuss about gravitational force. So what is gravitational force? It is the force of attraction between the different object in this universe. So gravitational force is an attractive force that every object in this universe exert on every other object in the universe. Okay. So gravitational force is an attractive force that every object in this universe exerts on every other object in the universe. For example, suppose if this apple has a mass of small m and the earth has a mass of capital M, then there is a force of attraction is exist between the earth surface and that of this apple. And this gravitational force can be represented by the equation, that is the force of attraction that exists between the surface of the earth and that of the apple is directly proportional to the product of the masses of earth and that of the apple, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. If you just imagine if this surface of the earth and that of the apple is separated by a distance of d, then the gravitational force of attraction that exists between the surface of the earth and that of the apple is directly proportional to the product of the mass of the earth and that of the mass of the apple, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is, F is proportional to m divided by d square, where capital M is the mass of the earth, small m is the mass of the object. Here we are consider an apple as our object. So capital M is the mass of the earth and small m is represents the mass of apple. And what is D? D is the distance of separation between the earth surface and that of the object. So this is the equation for calculating the gravitational force. F is directly proportional to m divided by d square. And in physics, we have a tendency to replace the proportionality sign. Here we can replace the proportionality sign by a constant. That is what is known as G, capital letter G. So F is equal to G into capital M, small m divided by d square. And this constant G is known as universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Okay. So here we are discussing about the gravitational force. It is the force of attraction that exists between the different objects in the universe. So suppose here we are consider the earth surface and that of the object as apple. Let m be the mass of the earth and small letter m represents the mass of the object. Then the force of attraction between earth and this object is directly proportional to the product of their masses. It is directly proportional to their product of the masses, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is, F is proportional to capital M, small m divided by d square. To replace this proportionality sign, here we introduce a constant. That constant is G, capital G, and it is known as universal gravitational constant. So the equation form of gravitational force is Fg. We can represent gravitational force as Fg. Fg is equal to capital G into mass of the earth into mass of the object divided by the square of the distance between the two objects. And here the G represents a constant and it is known as universal gravitational constant. Okay. Now we can discuss the characteristics of this gravitational force. Out of the four fundamental forces, gravitational force is the weakest force. Out of the four fundamental forces, it is the weakest force known in nature. So when you have a question that what is the weakest force in nature, all of you have a tendency to write it is the weak nuclear force, but it's wrong. The weakest force in the nature is gravitational force. This is the one of the characteristics of gravitational force. And it is a universal attractive force. It is a universal attractive force. You only need to write the first sentence. It is a universal attractive force. This universal attractive force binds all of us towards the surface of the earth. If there is no gravitational force, you just imagine the situation. We are floating on the surface of the earth. So it is a universal attractive force that binds all the object towards the surface of the earth. And another characteristics, it obeys the inverse square law, because the universal gravitational force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two objects. So we can say that it obeys the inverse square law. This is happens because of our equation F is equal to G into capital M small m divided by D square. Here the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two objects. That's why we can say that the gravitational force obeys inverse square law. And the third property, it is the weakest force. That is what is we are discussing in our first point. Okay, it is the weakest force in nature. So that's all about the 4 fundamental forces. Okay. So we can recall all these points. Ma'am, can you repeat the first point? Okay. The first one is, it is a universal attractive force. The gravitational force is a universal attractive force because it is attracts all the objects in this universe and it binds all the objects towards the surface of the earth. And this force is directly proportional to the product of the masses of the object, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Hence, we can say that the gravitational force obeys inverse square law. And it is the weakest fundamental force in nature. It is the weakest fundamental force in nature. Okay. So once again, we can recall all these fundamental forces. After that, we can move to the next topic. So Aditya Dev, what is the strongest fundamental force in nature?
Weak nuclear, strong nuclear force.
Yes, it is the strong nuclear. Yes. Are you sure? Okay, what is the strongest fundamental force in nature? Once again.
Strong nuclear force.
Strong nuclear force. Okay. And what do you mean by strong nuclear force? What do you mean by strong nuclear force? Aditya Dev, you can continue.
It binds atoms and neutrons and nucleons. It binds nucleons.
Yes, it binds nucleons inside the nucleus. Okay, so inside the nucleus, that is at the center of the atom, we can find the nucleons. By the term nucleons, we mean that both protons and neutrons. So the force that binds protons and neutrons inside the nucleus is known as strong nuclear force. Good. Alan Joffe, what do you mean by electromagnetic force?
It is a force that causes interaction between electrically charged particles.
That's very good. So these are the force of attraction, or the force that is responsible between or the attraction of electrically charged particles, or it binds the atoms or molecules together, and it is the second largest force in our nature. Okay. The next, Jodi, what about the weak nuclear force? What do you mean by weak nuclear force? Yes.
It binds atoms and molecules so that they form an ordinary matter.
Weak nuclear force. Is it weak nuclear force or electromagnetic force? What is the definition for weak nuclear force, Mehrin?
Ma'am, I didn't get the question properly.
What do you mean by weak nuclear force? Weak nuclear force.
Force required for radioactive decay.
Yes, it is the force that responsible for the radioactive decay. And what do you mean by radioactive decay? In some atoms, some nucleons are said to be, some nucleus are unstable. So they have a tendency to split into lighter nuclei. That entire process is known as radioactive decay. And the force which is responsible for this radioactive decay is known as weak nuclear force. It is the second weakest force in the nature. Okay. Then Mehrin, what about the gravitational force?
Ma'am, it is the force of attraction between different masses of the earth.
Okay, it is the force of attraction that exists between the different objects in this universe. And what is the equation form of gravitational force, Alantina? What is the equation form of gravitational force?
F equals to G M, capital M, small m by d square.
Yes, F is equal to G into M1, M2 divided by D square. Then Gaya, what is G represents?
It is a gravitational constant.
It is the universal gravitational constant. And what is the 2M represents, Tom Sebastian?
Mass of the two objects.
Mass of the two objects. If it is between Earth and the object, the capital M represents the mass of the Earth and small m represents the mass of the object. And what is D represents? Fahis, what is D represents?
Distance.
Yes, it is the distance between the two objects. So is it clear? So this all about the fundamental forces in nature. Okay, so these fundamental forces are the basic force. If these forces are absent, then we can say the universe doesn't exist. We have 4 fundamental forces: strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force, and gravitational force. Now we can write it in the proper order. We can represent it in the decreasing order of their strength. So what about the first force present? It is the strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force is greater than, what is the second largest force in nature?
Electromagnetic force.
Very good. Electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force, which is greater than?
Weak nuclear.
Weak nuclear.
Good, very good. Weak nuclear force. And weak nuclear force is greater than?
Gravity.
Gravitational force. Very good. So this is the decreasing order of the fundamental forces in nature. That is the strong nuclear force greater than electromagnetic force, which is greater than weak nuclear force, and it is greater than the gravitational force. Normally, all of them have a tendency to write weak nuclear force is the weakest force in nature, but it's wrong. Gravitational force is the weakest force in our nature. So that's all about our first chapter. It's over. Are you happy? So in our first chapter, we have discussed only about what is science, what is the definition for science, what about physics, and what is the definition for physics, and the 4 fundamental forces that exist in our universe. Okay, I hope all these topics are clear. Is it clear? You only need to study about these topics from the first chapter. You can expect only this question from the first chapter, physical world. So the first chapter is only discussed about the need of physics. What is physics? What is the need to study physics? And what about the scope of physics and all? So we can once again revise all these points. After that, we can move to our second chapter, that is units and measurements. So before that, I want to revise these points once again. I need to call some new people. Tushar, define science. What do you mean by science?
Science is the study of matter and biology.
Science, only the study of biology is known as science?
No, about matter, biology and masses.
It is the knowledge of nature. It is the study of nature. The study of nature is known as science. And it is came from a Latin word. What's that word? Buddha, Buddhadev.
Yeah, it came from knowledge.
It came from a Latin word. What's that word?
Knowledge.
That is a word meaning. What's that word? It came from a Latin word, scientia. It came from a Latin word, scientia, which means knowledge. Okay, good. Then, Anjana, what do you mean by physics?
Branch of science which deals with correct and precise description of natural universe.
Yes, very good. It's a branch of natural science, just like that of the chemistry, biology, and all. and which gives a correct and precise description about this material universe. That is what is known as physics. Then again, Emmeline, from where this word physics came from?
Greek.
Greek word? What's that word?
Physicos.
Physicos. Okay, good. Sarga, what's the word meaning of physicos? Sarga, sorry, not Sarga. Sara. Sorry, Sara.
The study of physical world.
Okay, okay. It is the study of nature. Physicos means nature, knowledge about the nature. Okay.
Okay.
So that's all about the first chapter, physical world. Have you any doubt from that chapter? So you can expect the fundamental forces in nature. It's a sure question from that chapter. And their increasing order of strength or decreasing order of strength. Okay. Now, can we move to the next chapter or second chapter? We just gives an introduction about the second chapter. That is units and measurement. All of you write the heading. Second chapter is units and measurement. Units and measurement. Chapter 2, units and measurements. I think these two terms are not new to you. Have you heard about this term, units and measurement? Have you heard about the term unit? We can begin with unit. The first term of our title, unit. Have you heard about units? Nehal, can you say an unit? Can you say an example for a unit? Yes, beautiful smile. Yeah. Adulya, what do you mean by unit?
Number.
It's a number. Okay, then Eva, do you have any idea about this unit?
It's a constant, right?
Yeah, so we cannot say it's a constant. We are using this unit to represent a physical quantity, right? So the actual definition of this unit means it is an international accepted reference standard. It is an international accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity. It is an international accepted reference standard. It's an international accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity. It's an international accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity. It is internationally accepted, not by the Keralites, not by the Carnatics and all. It's an internationally accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity is known as unit. So my next question, what do you mean by physical quantities? Unit is an internationally accepted reference standard to measure a physical quantity. So what do you mean by physical quantity then? Any idea? Don't sit like this because we the physics people are blessed with a lot of physical quantities.
An amount of something, anything.
Okay. Actually, the term physical quantity means these are the quantities that we can measure. The quantities that we can be measured is known as physical quantities. What do you mean by physical quantities? All of you write the definition for physical quantities. Physical quantities are those quantities that we can measure. For example, what's the time now? What's the time now? The question, what's the time now?
1:46, ma'am.
1:46, right. Now my question, does we have to measure the time? Can we measure the time? Is it possible to measure the time?
No.
No? Then how you say it is 1:46? Yes, we can measure the time with the help of some watches or clocks, right? So we can say time is a physical quantity. Clear? So the physical quantities are those quantities that we can measure. Now, can we measure our temperature, body temperature?
Yes, ma'am.
How we measure our temperature of the body temperature?
Celsius.
Thermometers. And nowadays, one more device is much more popular. What's that? Thermal scanners. Due to this corona season, the thermal scanners are more popular to measure the body temperature, right? So can we measure the temperature of the body? So temperature is also a physical quantity. So just similar to that, students, can you say some examples for physical quantities then? Time is a physical quantity. Temperature is a physical quantity. Yes?
Weight.
Weight, very good. We can measure the weight of a body using the means of spring balance or weighing balance. So of course, the weight is a physical quantity. Here Rahul type length, very good. Length is a physical quantity because we can measure the length or distance with the help of meter scales are there. Okay. So length is a physical quantity, time, temperature, weight, all these are physical quantities. So physical quantities are those quantities that can be measured. And physical quantities are basically classified into two. That is when we are talking about the physical quantities. For example, suppose if your mom asked you to go to the shop and buy, yes, electric current. We can measure the electric current with the help of a device. What is that device known as? Which device is used to measure the electric current? Just recall it. Very good, ammeter. So electric current can be measured with the help of an ammeter. So it's a physical quantity. So when we think about physical quantity from, yes, matter is not a physical quantity. Matter means solid or liquid, we can measure it. We can measure its weight, then it is a physical quantity. Okay. Then if your mom asks you to buy some amount of rice from the nearby shop, yes, Abhinav, force is a physical quantity. So if your mom asks you to buy some amount of rice from the nearby shop, then how you convey the same message to the shopkeeper? How you convey the message to the shopkeeper that this much amount of rice that you want? How you ask to the shopkeeper, or how you convey the same message to the shopkeeper? You go to the shop. Yes, Aditya Dev. Yes, very good. You go to the shop and then you can ask, I want 5 kilogram or 10 kilogram of rice. So here the kilogram is the unit that is used to specify the mass of the object, right? So kilogram is the unit of mass. Okay. So here we are discussing about lots of physical quantities based on this unit. So unit is an internationally accepted reference standard that is used to measure this physical quantities. And in physics, we have a lot of physical quantities like mass, time, temperature, force, electric current, etc. So basically, these physical quantities are classified into two. They are fundamental quantities and derived quantities. So now we are going to study the classification of this physical quantities. So physical quantities are those quantities that we can measure. Basically, the physical quantities are classified into two. One is fundamental quantities. And the next one is derived quantities. Physical quantities are classified into two, fundamental quantities and derived quantities. Now we can discuss it one by one. What do you mean by fundamental quantities and what do you mean by derived quantities? So first of all, what do you mean by fundamental quantities? By the term fundamental quantities, we mean these are the basic quantities. Okay, all of you write the subheading fundamental quantities. Fundamental quantities are the basic quantities. These are the basic quantities. And we cannot convert them into much simpler units. We cannot convert them into much smaller units. That is, a further division is not possible. That is what is meant by fundamental quantities. So fundamental quantities are the basic quantities. We cannot convert them into much smaller units. I will say one example here. Length. Can we convert the unit length into much simpler quantities? No, it's not possible. So length is a fundamental quantity. Similarly, mass. We cannot convert them into much smaller unit. Mass is mass and we are representing it in terms of kilogram. Okay, so it's a basic quantity or it is a fundamental quantity. Similarly, temperature. It's a fundamental quantity. So length, mass, temperature, etc. are examples for fundamental quantities. So fundamental quantities are the basic quantities. We cannot convert them into much smaller units. Length, mass, temperature. Can you say one more example for the fundamental quantities? Yes. Whether it is right or wrong, no problem. You just share your idea. Anyone? These are the quantities. We cannot convert them into much smaller unit. That is what is meant by fundamental quantities. What about time? Can we convert them into smaller units? Is it possible? Can we convert it into small units? No. So time is also an example for fundamental quantities. So fundamental quantities are the basic quantities. We cannot convert them into much smaller unit. Okay. Yes.
Can we convert meter into centimeter or like that?
Yes, it's not clear.
If it is length, we can convert from meter to centimeter, and it's similar.
No. That is not. When I am discussing about the derived quantities, then it is more clear. For example, the derived quantities is the derived quantities are the quantities that is derived from fundamental quantities. For example, velocity. What is the equation for calculating velocity? Velocity. How we can calculate velocity?
Displacement by time.
Divided, yes, very good. Displacement divided by time. So here the displacement is we can divide this velocity into two. It is can be converted into two. One is displacement, other is time. Similarly, can we convert length into any other terms? The conversion of length is possible? No. So here the velocity is a fundamental quantity. It is a derived, it's a quantity that is derived from that of the fundamental quantity. That is what is known as derived quantities. So that is what we are going to discuss next. All of you write the next heading, derived quantities. So fundamental quantities are the basic quantities. We cannot convert them into any other simpler forms, any other small forms. Now the second classification is derived quantities. Derived quantities are those quantities they derived from the fundamental quantities. Derived quantities are the quantities derived from fundamental quantities. Derived quantities are derived from fundamental quantities. Example, force. What is the equation for force? The force is a derived quantity. It is derived from the fundamental quantities. What is the equation for force?
F is equal to ma.
F is equal to ma. That is mass into acceleration, right? Mass into acceleration. And we know that the mass is a fundamental quantity. Again, the division is possible here. What is acceleration? Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. That is v divided by t. Again, we can convert this velocity. What is velocity? Velocity is displacement divided by time. Okay. So this much divisions are possible here. So derived quantities are the quantities that is derived from fundamental quantities. Just like force. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. So mass is a fundamental quantity. And here again the conversion is possible because acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, that is v by t. Again we can convert the velocity into smaller term. It is the rate of change of displacement. Displacement by time is known as velocity. So force is an example for the derived quantities. So we can say acceleration. Acceleration is also a derived quantity. Okay. So we can wind up this today's class at almost 1:59. I want to take your attendance. With this, we can wind up today's class. See you all in the next class. Thank you all. Bye. Good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.